So, I have always longed to be a voracious reader, but what exactly does that mean, you may ask? Well, hello there, fellow bookish beings. It's Jessica. If you're new here, hi, hello, welcome. I am a bookish Filipino now living in Paris who wants to get serious in my love for books. So, voila. Anyway, where were we? Oh, yes, being a voracious reader. So let's break it down. Voracious means someone who has a huge appetite for something. And so for me, being a voracious reader is someone who constantly wants to read and enjoy books, who is passionate about reading and who wants to share it with people. So that is my ideal self, as Anne of Green Gables would say. And just little story time last March when I had some complications in my work contact here in France, and I thought my life was falling apart and I would have to move back to the Philippines. Not that that was a bad thing, but just the situation where I was a bad thing. And that's why I went to Dubai as well. You are welcome to watch my healing vlog in Dubai with my auntie. I will link it in the cards here so you can watch it after this video. Thank you very much. Self-plugging done. I really clung to my books at the time. Lands and stories of near and far away really kept me sane. It really kept me grounded, kept me smiling and laughing amidst all the tears, kept me dreaming, kept me in hope. And so I decided that I wanted to commit into reading more and sharing this love for reading, creating a community of readers who wants to read voraciously as I do. So here we are. Also, my friends are tired of hearing me talk about books all the time, so I thought that I would just talk to you, to the camera, to you. You get it. And so, as a beginner or as an aspiring voracious reader, I thought it would be fun to do this reading wrap up with my Grinch mug. And there are some questions or some themes of the reading wrap up that I want us to go over. It's, I think, 10 or 11 themes slash questions to wrap up my 2025 reading. These are all the physical books which are with me that I've read this year. Most of my chunky books, I had to move them to Dubai because I thought that I would need to leave this apartment. And of course, the first thing that I rescued were my chunky books. And so, voila, I have read in total 32, maybe when I post this, 34 books. And yeah, let's talk about them using the 10 themes slash questions which are in this mug. All right, so let's really randomize it. Little ASMR sound won't hurt. And the first theme is, okay, the best setting. Let us just first look at the books that I have finished for the year. I hope it's working, and I hope you're seeing a screen where all the books that I've read this year are being displayed. Okay, so after some reflection, and I hope that little magic screen worked, I think the best, okay, it's kind of hard. There are 3 in my head which are the best. Okay, so the second runner-up is The Tokyo of Cardcaptor Sakura. It is the whimsical, I mean, Tokyo in itself is already magical and awesome, but Tokyo of Cardcaptor Sakura was another level altogether. It was whimsical, it was, well, magical because of Cardcaptor Sakura. If you're not familiar with this manga series, well, actually, it was an anime in the 1990s. Cardcaptor Sakura follows our main protagonist, Sakura, as she tries to collect all of the clue cards that has magically escaped from a book that she opened, and she is assisted by Kerberos and her best friend Tomoyo, who is basically her costume manager. It's amazing. I recommend this book to everyone and anyone who wants to start their journey of mangas. And also, fun fact, I read my mangas in French because I'm forcing myself to read more French books. The first runner up is. That's hard. Okay. I think the first runner up is The City of Thun in Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry. I think this is the perfect, I want to settle down in a cozy fantasy town kind of story, which made me think of Thun as one of the best settings that I have read. It is very endearing, it's short, very easy to read, and honestly, when I read it, I got the hype. And I know that Travis Baldry released a new book, I think a prequel of Viv's story, and I want to get into it. If you've read it, please let me know in the comments down below if it is worth the read. I am torn. So so we said that this one, okay, let's make it 4 places. This one is the third runner up, Tokyo of Cardcaptor Sakura. Second runner up, Legends and Lattes, The City of Thun. I think the first runner up would be, this is going to be hard to get. I hope the books don't fall. Don't know why I stuck it like this. I think the first runner up would be Saint Lizel. Saint Leo. I don't know. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Saint Lizel, basically Austria, where Emily Wilde's Map of the Other Lands was set. It was the perfect fall winter setting for me. The Alps in the story was just so magical, and adding fairy doors to it made it feel very, very whimsical, and I wanted to go there immediately after reading this, but I have work, so I can't. But anyway, yes, this is the first runner-up to the best setting, and if you are not aware of Emily Wilde's Map of the Other Lands, this is tome 2 of the 3-book series of Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, where we follow Emily and Wendell. Now, in this book, Emily is trying to help Wendell find the door to his Irish Fae Kingdom. And I am not going to spoil it, but basically read it. The best setting that triumphed all of the places that I went to with these books has to be Avonlea of Prince Edward Islands of Anne of Green Gables. I don't have any words. I loved being in Avonlea, but I finished this book quite fast, I think in just a week, because I loved it so much. Even if I was, I think, just beginning my new work, which started in July, yes. I read it at the time. I was sleeping maybe at 11 or 12 because I could not stop reading it, and it's just so endearing. If you are not familiar with the story, we follow Anne Shirley as she gets mistakenly adopted by brother sister Marilla and Matthew Cuthbert in the hopes of wanting a boy to help them for their farm. But because of someone's mistake, they adopted Anne, and this very, I think whimsical is the word of the day, this very imaginative, very quirky, temperamental little girl was somehow in their house now, and they had to care for her, and we watch them as they truly become a family all together. And also the community of Avonlea we have Diana and the rest of the girls and boys as well in school, and the rest of the townspeople. They were just, I don't have words. I really love this book. If you are wanting to read something lighter, maybe than Little Women, then definitely read Anne of Green Gables. So let's continue. Shaking it again. Shouldn't have looked down the cup. Okay, the shortest book. Okay, I think if we consider The Fall of the House of Usher as a book, it's only a short story, then that would be the shortest book that I've read. But if not, then I think the shortest book that I've read is a physical book, and I have it here. It is 84 Charing Cross Road by Helene Hanff. And this is an epistolary book, so it's a book with letters on it, and the way we read the story is through their letters, and a short form diary at the end of the book. It was just so endearing. I've watched the film, I think, more than 10 years ago, and I've always wanted to read the book, but for some reason I could never cross roads with it. I could never find the book until I just ordered it on Amazon and decided that it was time to finally read it. And my goodness, it was amazing. This book is so charming. I mean, it's about two book lovers who writes letter to each other. And no, it's nothing romantic. It is very, very friendly. And Helene is the opposite of Mark. No, sorry, Frank. The name of the bookstore, the bookshop, the little bookshop in 84 Charing Cross Road is Marks and Co. But it's Frank. The name of the bookseller was Frank. And they are polar opposites of each other, especially in terms of the letters that they write. It's so, so cute. I definitely recommend this book to anyone who just wants a very short, endearing story. There you go. Okay. Yay! Next category is... that's the word. Categories. I kept on saying themes. Okay. So we have... Dun, 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 dun. The weirdest book. Okay, I don't think we need to call my book overview page because I know exactly which book this is. It is, well, at least for the year, the weirdest book has to be Rouge by Mona Awad. I also released a reading vlog about this. If you want to check it out, thank you very much. If you're not familiar with this story, Rouge follows Belle as she tries to uncover what really happened when her mother died. So she lived in Montreal and she had to fly back to California and basically be in her mother's house as she tries to unravel the mystery behind her mother's death. And once we land in California, everything became very weird. Reading this was like you're in a fever dream, and it explores the complicated relationship between mother and daughter, but also our obsession on physical beauty and this glowy skin stuff. I mean, I was also a victim of it, so anyway, you would know more about it in my reading blog, so go check it out after this video. Mona Awad is the author of My Beloved Bunny, It's my beloved because it's one of my favorite books. And if you want something unhinged, something that is a bit eerie but not scary, just eerie and weird, then I definitely recommend you checking out Rouge. Okay, let's rally on. We have finished 3 questions, 3 categories, and the 4th category is the most magical book. Okay, let's go back to our book overview page. I think the most magical books would have to be Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, Tome 1 and 2. I just did a reading vlog about this last Wednesday, if you want to check it out. Emily and Wendell Bumblebee are 2 polar opposites, academics, and it turns out that Wendell is a fae, and not just any fae, but a fae prince. And from there we follow their journey and their story of discovering more about the fae world, especially Emily's, and their love story as well. And I think one of the things that I liked best about this book, aside from the magical element, which is very strong, is the very slow love story that unfolds between Emily and Wendell. It's some sort of friends to lovers, but also kind of like academic rival to lovers. And I just love that part of the story. But it's also not romantic centered, in a sense that they are still both their individual people who have their sort of own way in the story. I hope I'm making sense. I probably need more coffee. We have the new favorite. Okay, I want this to be the last one, so we're gonna skip this for now, and we will get another category, which is the most read genre. Okay, I think for this one we need the book overview page. Yes, let's go. So counting murder mystery, we've have The Secret Adversary, The Murder on the Links, The Murder of Roger Ackroyd, and then there were none. Poirot's Christmas. And so I think I have read more classics. I'm not counting Agatha Christie's as classics, just the I think I've read 7 classics this year. We have 1, The Tenant of Wildfell Hall by Anne Bronte, Anne of Green Gables by Ella Montgomery, 1984 by George Orwell, Orlando by Virginia Woolf, The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. Yes, I forgot about this. A Room of One's Own by Virginia Woolf. The other one was an ebook, and it was La Dame aux Camélias by Alexandre Dumas fils. So, in total, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 classics. And I am so proud of myself. I really want to read more and more classics as I grow older, because there's just a different way of writing style, and the themes as well of the writing is very different, the tonality of it, and that's why I'm so in love with classics. Oh, it's quite surprising that I did not read a Jane Austen this year. We shall rectify that in 2026. Let's move on to the next one, which is the longest book that I've ever read. I know. And I did not leave this in Dubai because I want it with me. I want this copy with me because it was Mystery Man who gave me this book. And if you've watched my vlogs in the Philippines, you know who I'm talking about. It is A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. This is a really chunky book, and I loved it so much. I read it last February to March, and it is 814 pages. 814 pages of one of also the most heartbreaking books that I have read in a very long time, if not ever. This is about four friends. So we follow their lives from university. Just imagining the story again makes me want to cry. We follow four friends from university to their lives as adults. The four friends are Malcolm, JB, Jude, and Willem. But the book is centered really mostly on Jude and Willem as well. And this book, really don't read this if you are triggered with depression, suicide, sexual violence, because it has it all. It is a very profound book. But I think that if you are triggered by any of those things that I've said, then I would not recommend this book. But again, this is one of the most profound and sad books that I've ever read. But it's not just about that. It's not just about the triggers that I've said. There's also redemption and family and love and friendship that goes with the heartbreaking story that we witness in this book. And I kid you not, there were chapters, the dog-eared pages. I remember I had a long commute to work back then, and I would cry in the metro involuntarily because of the way that the plot was unfolding when we were finding out the secrets of one of the members of the friend group that I said. Just my tears rolling out of my eyes, rolling in my cheeks involuntarily because of how sad it is. And I am getting emotional again. So before I cry, yes, this is the longest book that I have read in 2025, and I am hoping to read more chunky books. Hopefully, I can tackle Middlemarch by George Eliot in 2026. Okay, so next category is, let's see which this is. The biggest plot twist. Okay, I think we would need the book overview page for this. Oh no, my snap. Biggest plot twist, twistiest plot, where are you? I think I have it. And then there were none, because there were none. And the murder of Roger Ackroyd. All right, so and then there were none. There were 10 strangers invited to this mysterious island, and all of them somehow were connected. Their past sins were connected, and the person who invited them basically wants them to atone for all of their sins. And so he arranged this kind of party, this kind of gathering or party for these 10 people, and he scares them off, kills them off one by one, either by them turning against each other or just by blatantly killing them. And it was amazing. I was shocked by the end of this book. I was so wrong as to who the killer is. I was way off. And that's how I knew that this was a really good book. And I'm glad that I have the physical copy of this book. And the other one, which is The Murder of Roger Ackroyd, which I have read in the form of an ebook, was also jaw-dropping. We followed, so In this one, Poirot was not here. I thought he would be, but he wasn't. But it wasn't a disappointment. But in The Murder of Roger Ackroyd, Poirot at this book was retired in a small town, and then a death occurred. The murder of a rich guy occurred, and Poirot was called in to investigate, and he was accompanied by a doctor who is sort of like Captain Hastings, but a doctor in this town, and we follow them as they untangle the mysteries behind this rich guy's death. And I was also shocked. I also did not see that coming. I remember I was in the plane reading Roger Ackroyd and I gasped audibly, like, and the poor guy who was sitting in the window seat, because we were lucky enough not to have someone in the middle, he looked at me and I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I finished this book and it was amazing. And he's like, so for anyone who is looking for a great whodunit story, then definitely check out And Then There Were None and The Murder of Roger Ackroyd by none other than the great Agatha Christie. Let's continue. We have just 3 more, and this is the third. Oh, the saddest books. I don't think we need the book overview page because I know exactly which is the saddest books that I have read. Well, there are 2 of them. Of course, it is A Little Life Again by Hanya Yanagihara, for the reasons that I told you earlier. And also, hold on, let me just see where it is. Oh no! My physical copy is not here. I think I left it in the Philippines. Tied with A Little Life is The Kite Runner by Khaled Hosseini. And if you are not familiar with the story, we follow Amir and Hassan, 2 best friends who grew up together in 1970s Afghanistan. I hope I'm not mistaken. And we see as their bond evolves and what happens in the aftermath of the war. So I will just read to you what I wrote in Goodreads for The Kite Runner. This story of 2 boys set in 70s Afghanistan will break your heart. Tear it up to tiny little pieces and stomp on those pieces. It started with innocence, a little cruelty here and there, was shown by the main character, Amir, but I kind of understood where he was coming from. Up to that point, that is. That point where I had to stop because I cried and felt how unfair life is for Hassan. I was crying for all the children who might have gone through this wickedness. The story is deeply scarring. Triggers involved self-harm, violence, and sexual abuse, but the ending was filled with a lot of warmth and hope. It wasn't a perfect ending, and I actually liked it that way. It was kind of incomplete, but at the same time, Amir's story reached a circle. One of the most touching stories I've read in a while. Definitely a worthy TBR edition. Just beware of the triggers. So yeah. Okie dokie. So the last one, well, not the last one, the second to the last, because, okay, second to the last one, the newest discovery. Okay, I know exactly what this is. It's the mangas that I have read. I have never delved into mangas before this year because, well, I thought that just the return to investment of buying a manga and the time that I will read it and enjoy it felt to me not the best. I'm so sorry. But this year I have begun to understand. So I have in total read 4 mangas. Oh gosh, I just realized that this edition of Cardcaptor Sakura, the Pika edition, is super expensive. It's €9. Mon Dieu. versus these two, which are like €8. Well, €1 difference, but budgeting. You get what I mean? Okay. So I also, well, I've started delving into mangas because it's really high time for me to read more French books. And I thought that this would make it easier for me to read more French because of the pictures as well. So it will help me understand more the context of the story. If you're interested about my French learning journey, then I am, well, stay tuned because I want to create a French learning curriculum. Also because I want to learn Chinese and Italian because of the work that I do. And I am going to create a curriculum in 2026 so that we can follow our progress together. Well, a language learning buddy is always great for accountability, but we will get into that when we get into making our curriculum for the year. So, anyways, I digress. So, mangas, now I love reading mangas because I feel like when I read a long book, I need a short book to keep me going on reading, to keep me anchored on that voracious reading ideal self. And yeah, I found Spy Family, Promise Cinderella, and Cardcaptor Sakura as my first sort of as my first entry into the ever so fascinating world of manga. If you have any fantastic manga, well, fantastical mangas to recommend down below, please do so. I would love to get to know more mangas. I specifically also want to buy the Sailor Moon manga and a witch sorceress guide, sort of like a witch guide thing manga. I forget the name, but if you know, please let me know in the comments down below because again, I would love to delve more into this world. And the last category is the new favorite, and it is definitely Anne of Green Gables by Ella Montgomery. I have said this and explained in my Q3 TBR, I think. So you can check it out as well. That Anne of Green Gables is my new all-time favorite because it is just so endearing. It's so comforting. It is like the hearty soup that your body needs when you have been out all winter day. That's how I will describe Anne of Green Gables. That's how I will sell you in reading this fantastic book. I don't know why I haven't read it before, like before this year. I have watched Anne with an E and Netflix, which is, I think, a fantastic adaptation in itself. But even after watching it, I think now 5 times, I never really had the urgency to pick up the book. And then I found this in Fully Booked in the Philippines when I was with Mystery Man. And I guess I was meant to find it because I really connected with it. I would say that I am more Diana than Anne. I am more Diana than Anne. Sometimes I am more Anne than Diana, but I feel like on a regular basis, I am mostly more Diana than Anne. And that's why I love that the story not just really centers Anne, but also the people in her lives and how they affect each other's lives. And this story spanned 5 years, I think, of Anne's life. So by the end of it, she was 16, if I'm not mistaken, because she was 11 when she first came to Green Gables. I hope I am not wrong. Yes, and then she was 16 when the book finished. So we followed all of them throughout those 5 years. And when the book ended, I couldn't help but cry because I wished that I had the second book to start it immediately. And I just cannot wait to get into Anne of Avonlea next. I hope I find the same copy because I this copy is just so gosh darn cute, and I feel like if I have other copies of the installment, it would ruin the look in my little nook. So yeah. So yeah, that wraps up my 2025 reading. Thank you so much if you have made it to the end of this video. Comment the little, I don't know, comment a holiday emoji, the snowflake, the snowman, Santa Claus, or Mrs. Claus. Do we have a reindeer emoji? Yeah. Comment the holiday emojis if you have made it up to the end of this video. If you have any book recommendations, please let me know in the comments down below so we can be voracious readers together. And by the way, I upload every Wednesdays, but you will spot my shorts Fridays and Mondays as well. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so to help our community grow. Thank you so much again for watching. Happy holidays, and I will see you in the new year to set our 2026 reading goals together. I'll see you in the next book.